Let's be honest. Some days you feel like a complete failure. You wake up, scroll, distract, delay. You say you want more, but your actions prove otherwise. And deep down, you know it. This isn't about shame. It's about truth. You don't need another dose of motivation. You need to get face to face with the part of you that's been hiding, avoiding, and pretending. This video, it's not here to comfort you. It's here to challenge you because life doesn't wait until you feel ready. It moves with or without you. And the longer you wait, the heavier the regret becomes. You're not just letting yourself down. You're letting down the people who count on you, your partner, your kids, your future, your community. There's a version of you in the world that desperately needs. And this is the moment to stop playing small and start becoming them. The world doesn't need more spectators. It doesn't need more people scrolling, judging, comparing, or waiting. The world needs builders, doers, creators, people who show up and make something happen, especially when it's inconvenient. We have enough consumers. What we need are contributors, people who make their families proud, who step up when it's hard, who carry weight when no one's watching, who bring light when the world feels heavy. So the question is, which one are you becoming? Let's be real. You don't have an information problem. You have an implementation problem. Inspiration has become your drug of choice. You scroll through motivational reels, save every podcast, highlight every book, but nothing changes because the moment the content ends, is your momentum. You've fallen in love with the idea of change, not the process of it. And that's a problem. Motivation feels good because it tricks your brain into believing you've already made progress. Your brain lights up like you've taken action, even when you haven't. That dopamine hit becomes addictive. So you chase it again and again and again. You listen to successful people talk about discipline, thinking proximity to greatness will make you great. But it doesn't. Success is not contagious. It's constructed. One action, one decision, one uncomfortable step at a time. Hey, here's the cold truth. You're not lacking knowledge. You're avoiding discomfort. You're hoping someone else's words will ignite your fire. But fire doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from friction, from the resistance you feel when you start doing the things you've avoided for years. Information is useless without execution. And until you stop treating motivation as the main event and start treating it like a warm-up, you'll stay exactly where you are. You can't keep pretending that watching someone else change is the same as changing yourself. It's not, and it never was. There's an ugly mirror out there, and that mirror doesn't lie. But we do every single day. We soften our flaws. We rationalize our patterns. We point at external chaos instead of confronting internal weakness, and it's killing our potential. We scroll past our own shortcomings like they're not there, avoiding the real questions. Why am I still here? Why am I pretending not to know? What am I too afraid to admit? You see, change doesn't start with a vision board or a 5-year plan. It starts in the mirror with a brutal, unfiltered self-audit. You have to look at yourself in the eyes and ask, who did I say I wanted to become? And how far am I from that right now? The hard truth is this. Most people don't grow because they're too afraid to sit still long enough to meet the real version of themselves. And that version, it's often uncomfortable. It might look lazy. It might be bitter. It might be angry or insecure or jealous or weak. But guess what? That's the real starting point. That's the foundation you build from. Until you confront those truths, you're living in an illusion. Don't just glance at the mirror. Stare into it. Name your patterns. Write them down. Call out every behavior that's been quietly sabotaging you. Because if you don't define who you are now, your past will keep doing it for you. And once you've got that honest picture, now you're ready to do something with it. Here's how to feel properly. Here's a skill nobody teaches you in school: how to feel on purpose. We're taught to chase achievement, but we're not taught how to survive defeat. So when we fall, we crumble. We take it personally. We assume it means we're not cut out for the dream. But the truth, failure is not the opposite of success. It's the training ground for it. Real progress comes from repetition in the face of rejection, from putting in reps when no one's watching, from getting humiliated and then going back in again. Every great comeback story has one thing in common. They learned how to lose without losing themselves. They didn't catastrophize. They analyzed. They didn't stop. They adapted. They didn't whine. They worked. Failure done right isn't a shameful ending. It's a sharpening tool. You learn faster, you grow thicker skin, and you gain emotional endurance. And eventually, failure becomes your coach, not your critic. You learn to fall forward. You learn to use the pain. And in that process, you build the kinds of mental toughness that outlasts talent. Most people avoid this step, but if you can master it, you become nearly unbeatable. Here's the daily grind. It's the only hack. Everyone wants results, but few people are willing to pay in repetition. That's the real hack. Not a trick, not a tactic, but a tedious, relentless commitment to the basics. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not motivational quotes and mood boards. It's setting the alarm, getting up when it sucks, doing what matters when no one cares. The best don't rise on hype. They rise on a habit. The real work happens in the shadows. Early mornings, late nights, sore muscles, unseen sacrifices. It's where you lace up when no one's watching you, where you write, you train, practice, study, not for the applause, but because your future self is counting on you. This grind is unrelenting, but so is regret. You have to pick your pain, the pain of repetition or the pain of staying the same. And here's the paradox. The more you commit to the boring stuff, the more extraordinary your life becomes, because excellence is hidden inside the mundane. It's forged in the reps you don't post, in the days you want to quit but you don't, in the mornings you rise when no one's clapping for you. There's no magic, just muscle memory. And you build that memory by doing the work again and again and again. You're your own gatekeeper. You're your own saboteur and your own savior. There's no internal voice that tells you to quit before you start, that whispers, "You've always been this way. You'll never change." That voice doesn't care about your potential. It only knows your patterns. It repeats the scripts you've lived out the most. So every time you hesitate, it starts to speak louder. But the truth, you don't need to eliminate that voice. You just need to outwork it, drown it out with action. Every small win, every workout, every choice to delay gratification, every honest moment becomes a vote for the stronger version of you. And over time, that evidence stacks up and a new voice starts to rise. And this voice doesn't shout. It doesn't need to, because it knows the truth. You've done the work. You've earned the right to trust yourself, and that changes everything. When you realize the fight was never against your boss, your childhood, your circumstances, it's always been you versus you. You stop wasting energy blaming and start building. This is the battle of your life, and no one can fight it for you. But once you commit to it, you become unstoppable. Your family needs you to win this. Your partner, your children, your friends, they don't need your potential. They need your example. So show up, not perfectly, but powerfully, consistently, and authentically. Most people never figure out how their own mind works. They keep reacting instead of creating, following instead of leading. But when you learn how to study yourself, that's when the game changes. Rewiring your brain isn't about erasing the past. It's about understanding it and then choosing differently over and over until the new path becomes your default. You start recognizing patterns before they derail you. You stop arguing with your limitations and start testing them. You feed your brain the right inputs, filter out the noise, and learn how to speak to yourself in the language of your future, not your fear. And that kind of self-mastery, that's the edge. It's not that life gets easier. You get stronger, sharper, more emotionally efficient. You respond instead of react. You act instead of wish. And you build belief from proof, not hope. When you've done the internal work, you don't need validation. You walk differently. You decide differently. You stop chasing identity and start creating it. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way possible. This version of you, the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't fake it, that's who your people need. Be the one that they can count on. Be the example. Be the leader who walks into the fire and comes out forged. You don't need more motivation. You need more honesty. The real flex, looking someone in the eye with zero performance, zero ego, and saying, this is who I am, and I earns every inch of it. Rewiring your brain isn't magic. It's math. Consistency over time. One ugly, unglamorous decision at a time. This is your call to stop running from yourself, to stop waiting for permission, to stop disappointing the people who believe in you. The clock is ticking. The world doesn't pause for hesitation. It rewards movement. So start now, not when it's comfortable, not when it's perfect. Start now while it's messy, uncertain, and real. Step into the fight that actually matters. It's you versus you. And if you win that one, everybody around you wins too. In the world, it needs you to win. If this message hit home, don't just nod and move on. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below. What lie are you done telling yourself? You're here for a reason. Stick with Mind Hackers and keep building the mindset that builds the life.